Have you heard of the story of the man who shot and unalive his daughter's boyfriend at Calabar? If you have not heard of the story, I would like you to feel free, calm down, listen, relax, because I have the full gist of the story for you. One fateful day at Calabar, Nigeria, Mr. Ekpenyom Basi, a former NNPC staff, did a very big tragedy which I'm about to tell you, and this story will shock you and it will bring you to a thinking motive as far, is this man okay to do what he has done? Well, without further ado, let me dive into the story without wasting much of your time. Mr. Ekpenyom Basi, as I've initially introduced, is a former staff of NNPC at Calabar, Nigeria. He has a beautiful daughter, and this his daughter. Mr. Ekpenyom Basi doesn't joke with his daughter. So one day, something tragic happened in his compound which shocked the entire state, the entire community, and the entire village. Mr. Ekpenyom Basi shot and unalive his daughter's boyfriend, and that was not enough. What happened next was what is going to shock you. The move he took after he shot his daughter's boyfriend. This man took a desperate move to cover up his trash after he has shot and unalive his daughter's boyfriend. As wealthy and influenced as he is, he called a senior police officer of that community to help him take the body to a cemetery where he buried it without nobody knowing or without anybody having any trace about the crime incidents. He successfully did this without no obituary, no investigation, and no family consent. Omo, this man get mine no. Well, as they always say in a popular saying, nothing is hidden under the sun. What started as a disappearance was later transformed to be one of the worst spying cases in Cross River State, which the police and the security agencies will never take it lightly nor take it as a play. They quickly rush into action to unravel who is behind this mystery and the disappearance of this young man in Calabar. It all began on the 10th of March 2015 when Mrs. Marian Ojukwu was still at work, when she was still active and vibrant at work. And this type of case was one of the cases she can never joke or play with, or neither allow it to be swept under the carpet. So she quickly swim into action. And the other way around, the young man who has been unalive happens to be Marian's only son. So one day while Marian was at work, and so serious at work, because the new commissioner of agriculture just resumed office, and Marian, as the director of fishery, she has to be present at work that particular day because the commissioner is visiting all the departments and offices in Cross River State that particular day. While Marian is still at work that day, she received a call from her neighbor saying they saw Douglas, which happens to be her son, this afternoon. He was looking so sad and unhappy. When they tried to ask him what happened, he told them that he sold his laptop to someone, and since where he sold that laptop to that person, the person has been turning him upside down. He doesn't want to pay him his money, so he has been going to the person's house every blessed day to collect his money, and each time he comes to the house, the person is turning him upside down because that same person happens to be his girlfriend. And even today, this morning, he has gone to the person to collect his money. The person who happens to be his girlfriend told him to come back later in the afternoon, that before afternoon she might have the money to give him. I don't know how their relationship is. This one that he sold laptop to him, I don't know whether they have broke up or they are still in relationship, because to me, I don't know. If I'm dating someone, I will not sell my laptop to that person. No report have stated that their relationship was not working, or they have broke up, or they are still in relationship. All they have reported was that he sold his laptop to his girlfriend, and the girlfriend refused to pay him money, and he has been going there severally, and the girlfriend doesn't want to pay him his money that he has bought the laptop from. And he go on saying anytime he went there to collect his money and he meet the girl father used to spoil his mood, calling him all sort of name, insulting him and quarreling him. So the thing used to spoil his mood. Even when he went there this morning, the same thing happened. When he went there this morning to collect the money, he met the girl father quarreled him and asked him not to come back to his compound again. While on his way going, he met the girl on the road, and the girl promised him to come back later in the afternoon, maybe before afternoon, she might have the money to give to the young man. So with all this, the neighbor told to Mariam, and Mariam, knowing his own son Douglas, he asked the neighbors to hold him down, not to allow him to go to the compound or to go to the man's house in the afternoon to collect the money, because this is his own son per se. He has anger issue. Douglas has anger issue. If Douglas happens to go there in the afternoon, maybe the old man repeat the same thing he has been doing, Douglas might be angry and quarrel the man back. So it asked the neighbors not to allow Douglas to go to the house. Why? After some time, she went back to work, continue her work, because the new commissioner is inspecting all of them at every offices in Calabar that day. So later that day, after work, Mariam went home. When she got home, she didn't see Douglas, his son. He asked the neighbor, what happened? Where is Douglas? I asked people to help me keep him, to help me hold him till I come back. Why the neighbor say, we tried to hold him down, but Douglas was so determined that he really needs to go and collect that money. If he didn't go to collect that money that afternoon, maybe the next day the girl will say she have used the money. He asked him to come back in the afternoon yesterday. Douglas didn't come, so she have used the money. That's why Douglas was so determined. He said he has to go and collect the money. So since Douglas is grown up, they cannot hold him down like a baby. They have to allow him to go. But the neighbor says shortly after Douglas left the house to go to collect the money, she called Douglas' phone. After some time, Douglas wasn't picking his call. She called and called and called, but no response. Douglas didn't pick the call, so she didn't bother. Maybe it felt like maybe Douglas is still discussing on how he will collect the money, or Douglas is with the girl. They are talking, or they are making arrangement on how he will pay him his money back. That's why Douglas didn't pick his call. So when Mariam heard this, Mariam quickly brought out her phone. He dialed Douglas' number. He called. Douglas didn't pick. He called and called and called more than 10 times. Douglas didn't pick the call. So Mariam didn't bother because he was hoping maybe in the evening Douglas would come back. But so sad and so painful, Douglas didn't come back that evening nor that night. Throughout the night, they have been waiting for Douglas to come back. Douglas didn't come back. So Mariam was so worried and so worried she couldn't sleep throughout that night, because Douglas, his own son, has never slept outside. Douglas, his own son, has never stayed outside till the next day. So this new development from Douglas sleeping outside was so strange to Mariam. So Mariam couldn't sleep throughout that night, and because Douglas was not picking his call also. So this made Mariam so worried that she couldn't even rest all through the night. He was walking up and down all the neighbors' compound, was disturbing them. If they could help her and reach Douglas that night. After the whole drama at night without reaching Douglas, the next morning Mariam took up her phone. She tried to reach Douglas, but this time around Douglas' phone was switched off. So this made Mariam so worried, to the extent that he involved the husband, because all the effort to reach Douglas was to no avail. They tried to reach him, they couldn't. His phone was switched off, and there's nowhere they can find him to. He doesn't keep friendship or that, because he's not a wayward child. They didn't train him to be a wayward child where he could sleep outside or could go to his friend's house and not to come back. So they were so worried they couldn't reach him for 2 complete days. As they couldn't reach Douglas that day, the next day Mariam and her husband went to work. So while Mariam at work, Mariam received a call from the same neighbor calling her, telling her to rush home with the husband. Mariam asked her, what happened? Why are you asking us to come back so urgently like this? Then the neighbor replied and said, we have an information that a young man was unalive, that they kpai a young man at Cross River Base Authority. When Mariam heard this, Mariam said they should help her and go and check to see if the kpai body is Douglas' body. Then the neighbor replied Mariam and said, we also heard that they have taken the kpai body to Federal Housing Police Station. And you know, if a body is being taken to police station, it's only the relatives of the body they can allow to go for in search of it. So you have to come back, you and your husband, from work, so that we will go together to the police station to see whether the kpai body there is Douglas' own. Since Douglas' phone numbers are not going, and we have not seen Douglas for some days now. So when Mariam heard this, Mariam quickly reached out to the husband. Immediately, Mariam and the husband rushed to the police station. When they were at the police station, they were waiting for the DPO at the station, when a car just drove in, and somebody quickly pointed at the person inside the car, saying he was the one that shot that young man. When Mariam heard this, Mariam didn't bother, because he didn't know whether the kpai body there is her son or not. And after a little while, they were invited inside the DPO's office. While they were inside the DPO's office, Mr. Ekpen Yombasi went inside, but it didn't take long, he left out again. Still on the case, the DPO asked them what happened, why did they visit the police station? So Mariam's husband has to tell the DPO, saying, we have not seen our son for some days now, and this our son is someone who doesn't stay outside. So we are so bothered and so worried for us not to see him for some days, and his line are not going. That's when the DPO told them, Some days later, he received a distress call that an armed robber was shot by at one man's house not far from the police station. When he received the call, he asked his men to go and check and bring the body to the police station. When the young men went and bring the body to the police station, he discovered that the young man is no longer alive. So this was when he called the Cross River State Urban Development to come and take the body to a cemetery to bury it, because he has nowhere in the police station to preserve the corpse for further investigation. So they have to rush and bury the corpse at the cemetery. So when Mariam heard this, Mariam and the husband told the DPO to take them to the cemetery so that they will exhume the corpse to check if the corpse that is being buried there was their son. So the DPO and the men and Mariam went straight to the cemetery. So when they went to the cemetery, the policemen dig into action. They exhumed the body. To Mariam and the husband's greatest surprise, the body that they exhumed out of the grave was Douglas, their own missing son. After the body has been confirmed from Mariam and the husband that the body is their only son that has been missing, the police quickly buried back the body without allowing Mariam and the husband to say a goodbye to their son again. They rushed and buried it quickly. Mariam and the husband cried and wept. They went home. So the next day, Mariam and the husband quickly informed the whole village, the people in the village and the kingsmen, about what has happened. So quickly, without waste of time, the kingsmen have to summon the police and every authority that is due for investigation for them to investigate what happened to Douglas. So when the police and other authorities came, the kingsmen narrated what Mariam and the husband told them. The police said truly they are aware of that and they have taken them to see the corpse where he has been buried. So on this, the kingsmen say they have to exhume the body and give it to Mariam and the husband for them to give it a proper burial. So immediately and quickly, the police went and exhumed the body, give it to Mariam and the husband for them to give it a proper burial. When Mariam and the husband collected the body, they rushed to Calabar Teaching Hospital for an autopsy for them to know what really killed their only son. So after everything, the autopsy result came out, and when the police got to hear about the autopsy, the police became very, very uncomfortable. The DPO became so worried to the extent that he has to send his men to the family of Mariam, requesting them to come over to the police station that he want to have a conversation with them. But Mariam's husband, who happens to be a lawyer and a barrister, refused to follow the policemen to the station, because at this point, Mariam's husband was already smelling an omen, a sign that he don't understand. So he told them to go, that they will hear from his lawyer. His lawyer is going to write them at the station. So at this point, a formal petition was written to the Assistant Commissioner of Police of Cross River State, wrote to the governor of the state, also wrote to the State House of Assembly, telling them about the crime that happened in their community, which their DPO has been trying to sweep it under the carpet. At this point, things began to change. The DPO and his boys began shivering. Their legs was being shaken. They are no longer comfortable in their work, because the governor of the state ordered the state CID of Zone 6 at Calabar to take over the case, because he needed a good result from the investigation and he need a good investigation team to cover that investigation, because he want to unravel every mystery behind that boy's spying. So when the state CID took over the investigation, this was where Mariam becomes so shocking of something he has never known before. When the investigation officer told him that on their investigation, they discovered that Douglas is deeply in love with Mr. Ekpen Yombasi's daughter, whose name was Mercy, and Mr. Ekpen Yombasi has never supported the relationship right from time. And these two people has been in love right from primary school to secondary school. They have been in love till date. And neighbors of Mr. Ekpen Young said they have been seeing Douglas and Mercy every time in Ekpen Young's compound. When Mercy was brought out for questioning, Mercy came with her two brothers and some tenants of the house. So when they came there, they were asking Mercy questions. Mercy was trying to cover some things because he don't want his father to be exposed. It was at this point that some of the tenants came to review everything that happened in the compound that day. The tenant said she was in her room resting that hot afternoon when she heard Mr. Ekpen shouting a thief to be caught. Immediately, she rushed outside to see what's going on. All of a sudden, she saw a tall boy running towards the Cross River State-based authority. And behind was Mr. Ekpen chasing the boy with a gun, with a rifle. The boy ran with force straight to the gate, trying to escape through the gate. And Mr. Ekpenyong, noticing that if the boy go through the gate and he want to pursue the boy through the gate, the boy might escape. So he decided to jump the fence. While he was trying to jump the fence so that he would block the guy at the front, the neighbor say he quickly rushed to Mr. Ekpenyong, begging him to let the boy go. Since the boy don't run across the gate, he should allow the boy go. But Mr. Ekpenyong pushed the lady away and jumped the fence to pursue the guy. After Mr. Ekpenyong have left, the neighbor say moments later she heard 2 gunshots at the air, which ended Mr. Douglas' life. When the Assistant Commissioner of Police asked Mr. Ekpenyong who gave him the gun that he used, Mr. Ekpenyong replied and said it's his 2 sons. That his son, one is an immigration officer and one is an Air Force officer. So the 2 of them gave him guns that he kept in his house. So where the story became so interesting was that this gun license has expired since 5 years ago, and Mr. Ekpenyong is still using the guns. And when the police asked him, why did your 2 sons give you guns when you are not a military person, the man replied and said the gun is used for hunting. And the Assistant Commissioner of Police also asked the DPO, why do you rush to bury this boy without further investigation? That means for you to rush and bury this boy, you are trying to cover up this man's crime. In this case, you are also involved in the crime. We are not going to spare you in this crime. So at this point, they have to question Mercy with full force without hiding anything. Mercy decided to open up and tell the police what happened. Mercy said he has been in relationship to the 22-year-old Douglas for some years now. They have been in relationship, and in their relationship, Douglas sold a laptop to him, which she claimed that she have paid part of the money to Douglas, remaining some. And since then, Douglas has been disturbing and worrying her for the balance, that he wants to use the balance and do 1 or 2 things. So Mercy has been giving Douglas excuses, telling him that she will pay when she has money, she will pay. And Douglas has been coming to their compound every blessed day to ask for the money. And while coming, he always meet the father, and the father is not always happy seeing men around her. And the father has been warning Douglas not to be coming to his compound looking for his daughter. And Douglas opened up to the father, telling the father what happened, what inspired between him and Mercy, that he's not coming for relationship, he's coming to collect the money that Mercy is owing him. But the father paid deaf ears to Douglas' explanation. All what the father is after is make Douglas stop to come the house. So that day, Douglas came in the morning and met the father. The father warned him not to come again, that when next he see Douglas in his compound, what he would do to Douglas, Douglas will not like it. So on the way, when Douglas was about to go, Douglas met her in person, Mercy. So from there, Mercy promised and tell Douglas to come in the afternoon. When he come in the afternoon, that she is expecting some money. By the grace of God, before afternoon, the money go reach her hand, and he will give the money to Douglas when Douglas come in the afternoon. So that afternoon, when Douglas come, he still meet the father. When he meet the father, Mercy was not around. He met the father. When the father see Douglas at the house, so the father get angry and get upset. Immediately, the father say Douglas should leave the compound. Douglas say, I came because your daughter said I should come and collect my money. And this money I'm talking about, this money is more than months now, and I need that money today, because your daughter say I should come and collect it this afternoon. If it pass this afternoon, she might say she have used the money. So please, sir, with due respect, let me wait for your daughter when she comes back, so that she will give me my money. I will go in peace. The father see it as a threat, so the father have to rush inside the house, brought out a gun. When Douglas saw the father with gun, Douglas have to run, and the father chased Douglas for almost a kilometer, and all of the sudden he caught this young man, which he later shot twice on the chest. So after he has shot this man twice on the chest, for him to cover up his mess because he felt nobody was seeing him, he carried this young man in his car straight to the police station and met the DPO. And the DPO, being his friend, he narrated the story to the DPO. So the DPO send him and his boys to go and bury the corpse in the cemetery, so that nobody will know about the atrocity he has committed. So they kept the body in the police station. Late at midnight, they went to the cemetery to bury it, so that nobody go know. Omo, this police get mine, no. Police were supposed to save lives and property, and them then they use now to cover crime. Kai God, when are we going to have it right in this country, Nigeria? But though, as we have bad police, that's so we get good police, because now the good police where we get, now they help to unravel all the mystery behind Mr. Douglas's spying. Kudos to all the good police, kudos to all the good army, kudos to all the good immigration, kudos to all the good navy, kudos to all the good road safety, all the armed forces that have good people. Kudos to you. So back to the case. After months of investigation, Mr. Ekpenyom Bassey was charged for the case of murder at the Federal High Court, Calabar. So on March 21, 2018, Mr. Ekpenyom Bassey was charged to pay by hanging for the murder case of Douglas, the 22-year-old boy who he shot and pay. However, with his words and power and influence, he felt he would bypass the judgment by going to the Court of Appeal so that he can appeal his pay sentence. But God so kind, with the strong evidence and concrete evidence against him for the paying, he could not appeal his judgment. So he has to face full wrath of the law for the crime he has committed. Mr. Ekpenyom Bassey has to face the law. He faced the crime he committed, but it was not known whether any disciplinary action was taken against the DPO for the crime he also committed by covering Mr. Ekpenyom for his crime. May Douglas soul continue to rest in peace. May he find rest at bosom of God Almighty till eternity. And may God Almighty give the family the fortitude to bear the loss of Mr. Douglas. If you watch this video till this time, we really appreciate you, and we would like to hear your comments, your thoughts on the comment section. Comment on this video. Let's hear your thoughts. Let's know your feelings and your opinion on the comment section. And also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the link on our bio here. It will take you to our YouTube where you subscribe easily. Please, we need your views. We need much views. We need your encouragement on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Papi of Abuja, and also share this video, may it go viral. See you on our next post.